Hi everyone, my name is Brett Sherfy. I am going to be your Algebra 1 teacher for either the spring semester, fall semester, or for the year-long class. You may have me for parts, you may have me for semester. But what I'm going to do today is just kind of introduce you to the syllabus, hopefully make the first day a little bit more fun so we won't have to do this. But you will have an assignment on the syllabus at the end. So what I wanted to do is just kind of go through the syllabus, what I would normally do on first day, and just kind of make sure that you guys understand how the class is going to run and have all the important information as far as how you can stay connected, how you can be successful in this class. So as I said before, my name is Brett Sherfy. You can call me Mr. Sherfy if I'm your coach. You could have called me your coach as well. Um, my primary contact is Brett Sherfy at mcps.org. So if you have a question, if you get home and you need help to a math problem, or you know that you're going to be out for the next day, just send me an email and I will do my best to make sure that I get you any makeup work or get you caught up. All that information will be posted at Google Classroom, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. If your parents need to get in contact with me, they can call the school. The school phone number is right here, 540-382-5178. Most of the time I'm teaching, so I won't be able to answer it, but if they leave a message, I would be able to give them a call back as long as they give me a contact number. For the most part, this is for parents listening. I always try to do my best to address your questions in 2 sentences or less for an email. Sometimes I'll go a little bit longer, but I try to make that a rule. And if not, I'll just try to pick up a phone and give you a call. So let's keep going. I'm actually going to go down here to the classroom rules, and then we'll go back up. So. The classroom rules are the same as the school rules. We've actually had 3 different presentations this year on these different rules. So the first one is just be responsible, second one is be respectful, and the last one is be connected. And so for being responsible, that really means showing up to class with your materials prepared and ready to learn when the bell rings. So not just getting to the door when the bell rings, or getting outside to the mobile units as the bell is ringing. That means like being in your seat and working on the warm-up when the bell rings. That's one. And the other thing that's big is technology. Just make sure that your cell phones are away. I do follow the school rules as far as having a cell phone and our cell phone policy here at CHS. So it's best to just go ahead and store that, not on your desk, not in your lap or under a thigh, but just put it away in a bag in a pocket. The next one is to be respectful. So this is a safe classroom. That means that we don't use any derogatory or profanity. We don't use bullying is not accepted or tolerated. So any phrases, gestures, anything that is inappropriate, just leave that for outside the classroom or off school grounds. So just be respectful, and we won't have any issues. The other thing is make sure that you're respectful to our classroom. I spend the entire day in our classroom, so please be mindful of that. That means putting your trash away. I'm not here to pick up after you. Putting your materials away, and we'll practice that at the beginning of the semester and as many times as we need to make sure that we're treating our classroom and materials with respect. And then lastly is be connected. So being connected as far as school means getting involved and being a part of the school, being part of the classroom conversation. You learn through doing. Research says so. So when we do group activities or partner activities, just dive right in. Go ahead and jump into it, and you will learn and you will get more out of this class, I think, than any of your previous math classes if you just jump right in and participate and you're connected with your classmates and peers. So we'll also talk, it's a nice segue into being connected in this classroom. So I use a couple different services. I use Google Classroom. So I will give you the Google Classroom code for our class. So that's one way that I stay connected with you guys. I post all of our assignments, everything that we do each day in class up to Google Classroom. I'm usually pretty good about it if we're having a really busy or crazy day. Sometimes I forget, but I try my best to post all the notes that we do in class up to Google Classroom. So those will all appear in Google Classroom as a stream. and I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. And then I also use Remind. I would imagine that you're familiar with Remind, but if you're not, it's a neutral service where I don't have your cell phone number, so parents, I don't have your student's cell phone number, they don't have my number, but we can communicate through this neutral platform. A lot of times I'll have students send me a Remind message saying, I won't be there tomorrow, or I didn't write down what the assignment was. They can always check Google Classroom, or sometimes I'll have the opportunity to kind of walk through or answer back. Most of the time I try to not be on Remind after 9 p.m. So I will also use that to send messages to students to remind students to show up prepared with a Chromebook, to do their homework, to study for their test, those sorts of things. And then lastly, parents, if you're not familiar with PowerSchool or Parent Portal, you can actually see all of your students' grades in real time. So you can see, as I'm entering grades, you can see it as soon as I click Save. So let's keep on going with the syllabus here. So grading, I know that's important. For a semester class and for the year-long classes, each semester is broken down into 45%, 45% for each quarter, and then 10% for a midterm. So we don't have final exams, we just have midterms. Let's see, the 45%, that's broken down into 3 categories. Tests and quizzes are 65%. IXL, which we'll talk about here, is 20%, and then a project is 15%. I am available for tutoring, but students are responsible for letting me know if they want to utilize tutoring. We also have after-school tutoring on Tuesdays. And this is always something I try to make sure I highlight and talk about, and that's that no late work will be accepted after the last Friday of a full week in the grading period. And that's really just to make sure students don't wait to the last week or last day and be like, I've got all this late work. So make sure that you're staying up to date with your work and you're doing it on time, and you won't have any problems. Materials that you need for this course. So I pretty much provide everything that you need. The big thing I try to stress is showing up with dry erase markers. I'll show you that in a second. I think like a pack of 8 is like $6 at Walmart or something like last time I checked. A binder is always a good way to stay organized, and then paper and pencil are good, but for the most part I provide students with all the paper that they need for notes. So really it's just these dry erase markers. We use them every day in class, so I try to provide them, but we always run out and then students don't have something to write with. So if you just buy like a pack of 6, go to Walmart, CVS, wherever you go, and pick up a pack of 6 and just put them in your backpack, you should be good for most of the semester. Attendance. I just always try to harp on this. If you're not here, I can't help you learn, and you won't have the same opportunities to learn as your peers who are in class. So I try to understand everybody gets sick, and if you're sick, that's good to stay at home and not get everybody else sick, but try your best to make sure that you're showing up, you're on time, and if you reduce your number of absences, I believe that that usually helps the students be successful in the class. This is the only one I'm going to read verbatim, but cheating is giving, receiving, or attempting to give or receive unauthorized assistance on any assignment. Cheating is at worst theft of knowledge and credit, and is simply lying. There is zero tolerance for cheating. Any assignment, regardless of the importance that is a product of cheating, will receive a 0 with no opportunity to make it up, a report to the administrator, and a parent notification for all students involved. I've been doing this, I think this is my 5th year teaching as of making this recording, and so I've just don't cheat. Don't turn in something that's not your work. Don't have a app on your phone try to solve problems for you. It's usually really evident when test time comes around and you've gotten 100 on all your homeworks, and then you get a 30 on each section of your test. So if you're not understanding something, I would much prefer you come to me and just say, listen, like I need more time, or I don't understand this, rather than you try to turn in somebody else's work or have an older sibling or an app on your phone do your homework. So just don't do it. And then finally, we use IXL. I know that the middle school CMS uses IXL, so if you're familiar with IXL, we're going to continue to use it. All of my IXLs are out of a 90, so a 90 is considered 100. Anything above a 90 is extra credit. Your username would be your first and last name at MCPSVA. It's important to note that there's not a dot there. So it's your first name, last name at MCPSVA. So mine would be Brett Sherfy at MCPSVA. And then your password would be your lunch code. Parents, if you have any questions with this, please feel free to either send me an email or call the school, and I would be happy to talk with you. And if you and your student have read through this and understand the rules for the classroom, I would like you to click on this link here. So you would click on this link and you would fill in this information. There we go. These are the dry erase markers. An 8-pack was $5.25 at Walmart the last time I checked. That was in the fall, but I wouldn't think it would have changed much. And a 2-inch binder is $2.73 at Walmart. So go ahead and fill this in. Fill in your student's last name, their first name, as well as the block that they have me, your name, your contact information, and then at the end it'll just say that you agree. So once you've filled all this in, you can click the next button and say that you agree, and then you understand how this course is run and the requirements for your student. A few more things I want to talk about because I do have that time limit. We limited these videos to 15 minutes. So this next one, this is Google Classroom. This is what it looks like when your students would log on. So I've posted a bunch of materials for my third block here that's starting this semester, including the syllabus that I just went over. So if I went to the classwork, you could actually find the syllabus and click on it, and here's all the information. So if you forget, or you were like, how was it that the grading was set up in this class, you can come here and click. Every chapter that we do, so starting with the first chapter, I post I can statements, and so you can click on it and you can see exactly what it is that you have to be able to demonstrate. So when your first test comes around, these are the 3 things you're going to need to be able to do. 1.1 is I understand that quantitative real-world situations can be represented as algebraic expressions. These are examples of what the problems look like, and these are some of the homeworks we're going to do. 1.2, this would be the second section of your test. Well, you need to be able to evaluate expressions for given replacement values of variables. These are the homeworks we're going to practice, and these are example questions. And then lastly, another example is the third thing on the test would be to be able to model and represent algebraic expressions using algebra tiles. So we'll practice that on IXL. These are some example questions. We'll do a couple of in-class activities with it. So this is how each test is set up. So when you come in, you would take 3 different tests. You would take 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. They may have somewhere between like 6 and 10 questions, and you would take all 3 by the time that you leave. Lastly, I just want to quickly show you what IXL looks like. So this is IXL. This is our Algebra 1 tab. So it's under Math, and it's the A1 tab. We'll do 1 or 2 in geometry, and maybe 1 in Algebra 2 and 1 in 8th grade. But for the most part, we spend all of our time here in Algebra 1 over on the side. I would suggest that you bookmark this by just clicking this little star up here. And then it always helps if you click this little remind. So again, this is IXL. This is our login. So mine's my first name and last name at MCPSVA with no dot. And then I have my own password. But for students, it's your lunch code. And it always helps to click this little remember button. And you would say sign in. And then all of your information that you do, every problem that you do will be stored here. So I always go out of the total number of questions correct. So for this one, it would ask us to model this, and so this is the score that I would go off of. So again, parents, please make sure that you fill out this information survey. You can get to it by typing in this. You can do it on a phone, you can do it on a computer or a tablet, but it's tinyurl.com/Sherfy, my last name, and then Algebra 1. Finally, one more way to stay connected, that would be with Remind. So if we go to Remind, I have a class code, and so when we look at my class code, you would just go to, say, join class, and then the class code for our class is my last name and then B3 for block 3. So if you're in block 1, it's Sherfy B2, or excuse me, if you're in block 1, it's Sherfy B1, and block 2 is Sherfy B2. So thank you for watching this recording, and I'm looking forward to having you in class this semester or this year. Have a great day.